President Russell M. Nelson, the leader of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, passed away on September 27, 2025, at the age of 99. His death brought sadness to millions around the world, but the most moving grief came from his wife, Wendy L. Watson Nelson. She was his second wife, his closest companion for nearly 2 decades, and the one who stood beside him in the final years of his remarkable life. When news of his death was announced, Wendy broke down in tears. Those tears carried a weight that words could hardly capture. For Wendy, this was not only the passing of a world religious leader, it was the loss of the man she loved, the man she had described as her eternal partner. Her voice trembled when she spoke of him, her tears flowing as she remembered the kindness, tenderness, and unwavering faith that shaped their marriage. In that moment, the world saw not just the widow of a prophet, but a woman mourning her best friend. Wendy and Russell Nelson were married in 2006, following the passing of his first wife, Dancel, with whom he shared 60 years and 10 children. Their marriage brought new joy into his later years. Wendy, a respected professor and marriage therapist before her marriage, set aside her career to support his ministry. She traveled with him across the globe, stood by him during historic changes in the church, and gave her own talks that inspired members. Together, they became an example of unity and devotion. When she cried after his death, members of the church understood that her grief was not just about losing a husband, but also about losing the daily companion of her soul. She knew the weight he carried as president. She saw the long nights he spent in prayer. She heard his whispered words of gratitude when he was tired. She witnessed his determination to lead even when his health weakened. To the world, he was a prophet. To her, he was a gentle and loving husband. Her tears struck a deep chord with church members everywhere. Many women saw their own pain in her sorrow. They knew what it meant to lose a husband, a partner, a protector. People said her visible grief gave them strength because it showed that even the wife of a prophet feels the same loneliness that ordinary widows feel. Her honesty, her vulnerability, and her willingness to weep openly made her tribute one of the most heartfelt moments after his passing. In her words, Wendy spoke of gratitude for the years she had with him. She described how he never let a day pass without expressing his love. She remembered his habit of thanking her for meals, of holding her hand, of quietly offering her encouragement when she felt weary. Her memories painted a picture of a man who lived with both discipline and tenderness. She said that his greatest gift was the love he gave so freely. She also shared how he remained faithful to God until his final breath. Even in moments of pain, he prayed. Even in moments of weakness, he expressed gratitude. She told the church that his example would continue to guide her and countless others. Through tears, she reminded members that he always taught death was not the end. Families, he said, could be eternal. That message gave her hope, even as she faced the emptiness of his absence. President Nelson's leadership was historic. He guided the church with energy that surprised many given his age. He emphasized the full name of the church. He pushed for more temples worldwide. He encouraged members to deepen their faith in Christ. Wendy stood beside him through all of it, proud of the work he was doing and quietly supporting him at every step. When he spoke with authority, she smiled with pride. When he traveled the world, she traveled with him, sharing the burdens and the blessings. Now, with his death, she faces life without him. Her tears revealed the magnitude of that reality. For nearly 20 years, she had lived as the prophet's wife, admired for her strength and grace. Now, she must walk a road marked by grief. Yet, even in her mourning, those who listened to her could feel her strength. Her faith did not collapse. She clung to the teachings her husband had lived by, reminding herself and others that life continues beyond the grave. Observers said that her tears touched them because they were real. They were not rehearsed, not measured, not restrained. They were the raw expression of love. In that honesty, she gave comfort to others. She showed that grief and faith can exist together. She showed that one can cry with sorrow and still believe in eternal reunion. Wendy described her husband not only as a leader, but as her companion. She said he loved God, he loved his family, and he loved her with a devotion that never wavered. Her voice broke when she said he was her best friend. Those words revealed a love story at the heart of a global leader's life. Behind the sermons, the conferences, and the decisions was a marriage built on kindness, respect, and faith. Her breakdown in tears became one of the most remembered moments after his death. It reminded the church that prophets are also husbands, fathers, and companions. It showed that even leaders leave behind people who grieve in the deepest way. While millions mourned a prophet, Wendy mourned her husband. While others remembered his sermons, she remembered his laughter. While the church reflected on his legacy, she reflected on the warmth of his hand in hers. President Nelson's death on September 27th closed a long and historic chapter. For Wendy, it closed a chapter of love and shared purpose. Yet, she continues to carry his message of hope. She has said that her faith in Christ gives her strength. Her tears may have fallen heavily, but her belief in eternal families remains strong. She knows she will see him again. Around the world, tributes poured in. Leaders from different faiths praised his dedication. Government officials honored his work. Members shared their love for him. But among all these tributes, Wendy stood apart. It was the most personal, the most vulnerable, and the most moving. Her grief turned into a testimony of love, a testimony that love is stronger than death. She reminded the world that President Nelson's greatest legacy was not just the changes he made in the church. His true legacy was the love he gave to God, to his family, and to her. Through her tears, she bore witness to that love. Her sorrow continues, but so does her strength. She carries forward his memory, his teachings, and his love. And the world will never forget the day Wendy L. Watson Nelson broke down in tears, mourning the loss of her beloved husband, President Russell M. Nelson, and showing the world the depth of love that endures beyond life itself.